just loves to throw little curveballs at us. For instance, curveball on my weekend. Didn't think I was gonna have a head cold, but Lord almighty, do I have a head cold. I also didn't think that I was going to lose my first camera and have to buy back a second one using my loan refund from school. But we're all pretty familiar with curveballs from life. Something even weirder that life does to us than throw us curveballs is throw us the possibility of things happening and then not happening. And I don't mean this in a sad way or in a things failed to work out kind of way. I mean this in a life paths that you were planning to unfold that never did. I've been flipping through my little time hop thing lately, that app, and this time of year, 3 years ago, was when I was doing my gap year in Costa Rica, so a lot of those things are popping up, and it makes me remember how different my life was going to be, at least in terms of what I was planning. I didn't actually originally plan to go to Costa Rica at all. I always wanted to go and take a gap year. I knew that I did not want to keep on barreling through immediately after high school into college because I would be a little bit burnt out and I didn't want to lower my chances of graduating because I really wanted to graduate college, so I took a break. I always knew I wanted to do that. How I wanted to do that began as a very, very different concept though. I was originally going to take my gap year with a friend, and rather than volunteering, I was going to work and travel. We were going to actually move to Adelaide, Australia. The plan was we were going to work and live like specifically in Adelaide for the first 6 months of the gap year. And for the rest of the 6 months, we were going to travel around Southeast Asia and the rest of Oceania, maybe Europe on our way back. We didn't quite know. That's what we were wanting to do. I was going to do it with one of my best friends in the world, who still is one of my best friends in the world. You saw her in my February vlog, I'll link that. And we were gonna go on an adventure together. And I wanted to go on an adventure with her, I really did. But as I thought about what I needed from a gap year, I thought about how I was wanting to do it for myself, not anybody else. I didn't want to take my gap year, go somewhere, and be responsible for anything but my own growth. And living with somebody, you're responsible for rent, and you're responsible for comfort, and you're responsible for them as a person. If they get hurt, you're their person. It just wasn't quite what I wanted, and it really hurt my soul that I had to tell her that. Told her I need a year of my own self-discovery and I need to do something by myself for myself. And that worked out. But what was so weird about it was we were planning everything so thoroughly because we both wanted to do it. I did want to do it. We were looking at apartments, we were looking at our insurances, we were looking at how we were going to have a car down there. We were trying to plan things out. And we got pretty far with it, quite frankly. We had both been saving up already, but it just wasn't quite what I needed. And it's just so weird that I spent months of my senior year of high school with this thing in my brain that it was going to be my reality, and then it never came to be. To nobody's fault, it just didn't. And that kind of links me into the other big part of my life at this point, 3 or so years ago, when my plan for college was entirely different than what it is now. At 19, after I had finished my gap year, started community college, which I'm still in right now, I went in as a biology major. The reason that I even went to Costa Rica really was to try and see if working as a conservationist was something that I wanted to do. And I really enjoyed it. I totally could be a conservationist, but I'll get to why that's not still my goal later. So I'm going to school at community college. I'm working as a waitress, and I'm planning, after I get my associate's degree in biology, to transfer to a university in Northern California, which has a really good marine biology program. I'm taking all the classes I need for the degree. I'm taking all the labs. I'm in constant conversation with this university that I'm wanting to transfer to, and I'm preparing myself to move out to Northern California in the next 2 years. This would be 2014 through early 2015 was when I stopped going for that. Without going into extraneous detail, my anxiety flared up more than it had ever done in my life during that period. I would be excited about the prospect of me moving to California all by myself and going to the school where the closest distance a friend was to me was a full day trip. It was exciting because I'm an independent person. I want to do things for myself and experience things by myself, but I didn't have anything out there. And with my anxiety flaring up the way that it was, I just kind of came to the conclusion that that was a very scary thing, you know, mentally for me to do. I already have a problem isolating myself when I'm anxious or depressed, so me literally being in isolation would probably be the worst thing for me. And later too, I realized with biology comes all this other science and math. Everybody says it, but I am literally god-awful at math. I can try my absolute hardest and I will get a C at best, like a low C at best. And on top of all that was physical sciences and chemistry and physics, and I like to think I'm a smart person, but I also know my limits. When that reality kind of sunk in, it just sucked. The work suited me, but the study didn't suit me. And that was my plan from 17 to almost 20. That was my life plan, and I had to just relinquish it. And it was probably one of the most uncomfortable feelings of like knowing for a fact what your life is going to be and then it just going away. It just like blowing by in the wind. But I don't know, I've just been doing a lot of self-reflection lately with those two things especially. I think it's incredibly important to be self-reflective and to think back on old life paths, because it's not as though you can never take one again. One day I would love to do work, you know, with national parks, in animal conservation efforts, and environmental research. I have the capacity for it, just perhaps not a degree. And the same thing goes for moving to another country. Obviously, my boyfriend is my go-to person, but who's to say that I couldn't move out for a month or two with a friend in a different country? You just never quite know, and I think that's really important to know. I am a planner. I like to see large stretches of my life clearly. I like to know that I have a plan. But I also like to know that plans change, and I change, and friends change, and circumstances change, and life paths definitely change. So with that, I ask you, little or big, is there a life path that you saw in front of you that just never transpired? This could be a college, this could be a crush that you envisioned yourself with so intently and now you like don't even talk. Is it a job that you think you were applying for that you totally saw yourself doing and never did? I think it's cool to see people's decision making and see how people have thought to live their lives. But anyway, this was just a mini concept that I wanted to turn into a mini video. Like I said in the beginning, I've got a head cold. Going to class today was literally so strenuous on my brain. My next video will be far more together, hopefully far less congested. But seriously, if you have a life path that you could have taken and did not take, tell me about it. With all that said, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!